Alright, this time I'm going to do something different. I'm going away from the books. This one actually was going to be the start of a book. It even has prologue of what I started here, but then I just decided to finish it up and leave it as it is. I am reworking the first ones that I removed from Evolution. I'm discovering more and more how to use the hit film, and it's going to be really good, but this here I'm just going to slap on real cheaply so it won't probably look very well, and I'm just going to do a straight reading through without any editing. So forgive me if it sounds a little odd, but yeah, like I said, this was going to be a scary one, so here we go. And I call this, well, you could figure it out yourself. First there's light, then there's dark. Day followed by night, good pursued by evil. Healthy fights disease. The world, in fact the universe, fights opposites at every moment. Most are harmless, or even good, like awake and sleep. Both are bound together, and both serve to improve all things that dream. But opposites extend beyond the simple, easy lovelies of reality. It is one of those opposites that calls only seldom, only against the natural and completely unknown. For it's an opposite that survives in places that cannot be recorded. And yet I will try. My name doesn't matter. No one special, no one famous, and not particularly excited about the prospects of ever being known. But my name is very old, meaning valiant warrior. Nice, but only freedom fighters and those out to protect individual justice are the true valiant. The rest are deluding themselves. We all do from time to time, daydreaming of great deeds or conquering our devils, real or imaginary. It's just being human. But it has its utter opposite as well. The inhuman. Assassin fighting for no reason at all but to sow fear, pain, and death. I found one. Maybe more. It's just so far removed from rational reality to know for sure. I first met one as a child, asleep in my room, cozy and surrounded by loving family. I heard my name called out in a panic, fearful voice. Oh, I was brave then, rising from slumber to check the room, the hallways, and the house for anyone awake. Nope, all quiet and still. Even my father, whose voice it sounded like, was snoring logs the size of Texas. It happened twice more before I started to wonder, big thoughts for a 10-year-old. If no one was awake, who called and from where? Have you ever felt a shadow crawl across your skin? The cold and shiver-inducing gale from nowhere, headed to emptiness and only reveals itself to you. That's the very one that visited me. I was 10, brave and big in my own mind, so I nearly forgot about the meeting. A chance meeting, I think. When I was 16, I did the whole outdoors adventure stuff, from surfing to camping to diving deep into abandoned mines. They tell you those old mines were abandoned because the gold or silver ran out. I know better. It was here, in a desert mine, left quiet and still for nearly 100 years, when the door to the opposite opened again. I was still brave. At 16, and thought myself to be a man, a real man, venturing deep into forgotten tunnels all alone for the sheer joy of exploring the unknown. It must have been near a mile-long and twisted passage where I found the bones of a dog. I stopped and imagined how a coyote chased a rabbit, then got lost and died where my flashlight found it. But the truth was not so easy. Under the dog was at least 80 years of dirt, and under that was a man named Missing. I felt the shadow once again, only this time it shut my eyes, took power from my light, and induced delirium. But again, I was brave. I focused my mind, recalled my steps, and followed my instincts back to the fresh air and sunlight. I left that shadow deep in the underground, but this shadow doesn't understand our rules of distance, depth, or time. We would meet again. College found me and put me squarely in the health sciences. Sciences, do you still believe? Anyway, dissected anatomy with brain and bone, nerve and muscle splayed out in tanks, jars, under glass, surrounded my mind for memorization. Tuck these things into your head, let them rattle around. To never forget was the purpose of so many sacrificed at the altar of health. Learning from the dead to understand life only makes sense if you choose to be a proficient healer, which I had. Those labs smelled terribly, with formaldehyde and rotting fat. Oh, by the way, rotting human is the second worst smell you can experience. The first is if you take that unequaled and offensive sinus abuse and combine it to a foul. Just a tidbit for those who keep these little perversion treasures for whatever twisted reason you come up with. Meanwhile, back at the lab, I searched for a specimen submerged in a body tank sized, but they were all closed. I lifted the lid to several tanks, trying to find just the right set of misfortunes that would lead to my education. Guess who I found hiding? Yes, inside, smothering the corpse of a legless soldier, was an opposite enjoying the loss of bravery. It was fresh, and so was the Marine, with insignias tattooed brightly showing his type of service. It mustn't have been expecting life and nerve to disrupt its dance of victory, for when I opened the tank, both it and I were startled. My reaction was to jump backwards from the unexpected. It was to my assault, my subconscious, for I never slept well again. But I wasn't alone on the human side of the equation. Comrades, both male and female, were hit by the nasty shadow. I was the one who stood first, stood brave, and drove back into the tank. The Marine served us one last time by revealing his subskin anatomy, and I won. And later for me, many ticks of the clock, stacks of calendars, and days left in memory, but not later for that pesky, nasty shadow opposite. Time doesn't touch the untouchable, but it adds to things that touch me. Kids, grandchildren, beloved wife, friends, so many others joined to my life and existence, an experience that made me whole. But unbeknownst to me, it also made me vulnerable. Opposite came, found me in my health, my middle child's health, and potential loss of others. I didn't see him lurking there, but that's his gift and talent. He hides where no one thinks to look. My wife's nearly died, and shadow took a piece of me. Child, too. Oh, that was a doozy. Spinning, falling, losing to fear. Then came my health, and I couldn't support those I hold dear. Shadow is at the door, not knocking, but sliding under, and coming through the floor. No hope for me now, just hanging on for a little more. Time is killing me. The dreaded tick-tock, sanity fading in helplessness. I make mistakes now. Do I drive? Do I buy? Do I trust my own decisions? Maybe, maybe not. But the shadow still comes close. I see him at my feet, nibbling and grinding. I see his teeth now, face and flesh, the shadow that has hounded and hunted and finally found its quarry. Looking him in the face, I see him now, know him now, recognize him from days long ago. It never once left me, no, not a single tick or talk. Oh, what a fool I have been. The shadow is me, my hated and trusted self, but just a part, the part called pride.